on the ride.
Out there on the Harambe Wildlife
Super happy.
Reserve today. If you look above those heads, you're gonna see your animal spotting guide. Probably won't see all those animals out there today, but we usually have pretty good luck. Now, for your safety, we ask everyone please remain seated throughout our safari. Keep those hands, arms, feet, and legs inside this vehicle at all times. This first area of the reserve we're heading into is known as the Little Ituri Forest, and the animals in the forest tend to be a little shy and do a pretty good job of blending in with their environment. But there are some animals kind of hiding in the area already. If you look to your right, there's a dark brown animal with striped hind legs. It's the okapi. And because of the okapi's stripes, lots of people think they're related to zebra, but they're actually the only known relatives of the giraffe. To your left are the greater kudu, tan deer-like animals. You can tell that they're females, because no horns. Only male greater kudu are going to grow horns. And I mentioned the okapi you'll see again to your right is the only known relative to the giraffe. Like a giraffe, they have a very long, prehensile tongue. So long they can lick their own eyeballs. And it being prehensile, that means they use their tongues to grab things like leaves out of trees. Now laying down to our left is a big fella. It's a black rhino laying down. It's kind of the boulder, it looks a little different from the rest of the boulders. The black rhino is a smaller subspecies of rhino. They can reach weights of up to 3,000 pounds and run at 35 miles per hour. Now sadly, there are only about 5,000 black rhino left on the planet, and that is due to poaching. What's going to separate a black rhino from other subspecies is they have a prehensile upper lip. So just like how the okapi had the long tongue they can use to grab things, black rhino have a long upper lip they can use to pull grass up by its roots and then eat it. Now speaking of long things, we're going to see some big birds coming up here to our left-hand side. They're the saddle-billed storks. They are the tallest storks on the planet, with a height of 5 feet tall and a wingspan of about 9 feet, which is about as wide as the canopy on top of this truck. You can tell which one was the male and which one was the female if you got a good look at their eye color. The female had the bright yellow eyes, while the male has dark brown eyes. But now we're heading away from the Little Ituri Forest, and it looks like we are approaching Safi River. Now Safi River is a pretty large body of water, so sometimes there's some pretty large animals that can be found here. But before I talk about any large animals, I'm going to talk about the birds. You'll see down here to your right, it's going to be the pink-backed pelican. The pink-backed pelican get their name from the fact that their backs turn pink, or at least more pink than normal during mating season. Now, they are carnivores. They're also colonial nesters. That means they nest in pairs of birds that range from 20 to 500 pairs of birds at a time. Those pelicans we just saw are also very ancient birds. In fact, their fossils have been found to date back to more than 40 million years ago.
Look at that top. Like how they have like...
Now there is going to be a very dangerous animal on the river. Down here to your left is the Nile crocodile. Like I said, crocodiles are very dangerous. They have very powerful jaws, but they don't just use their jaws for catching prey. It also makes them excellent parents. They've been seen rattling their eggs around in their mouths to encourage their little ones to hatch. But now we're heading away from Safi River. And from what I can tell, it looks like we are heading towards the African savanna. Now the African savanna stretches for hundreds and hundreds of miles, so it's probably where we're going to spend the majority of our safari. And it is home to some of the world's largest and most famous animals.
That's a baobab tree.
Now before we get to see any of those animals, we're going to see a baobab tree to our right, also known as the upside down tree, because its branches look like roots about 9 months out of the year, which is the dry season on the savannah. For a baobab tree to be the size of the one we just saw, it does have to be over 1,000 years old.
Story of the baobab tree. Told that someone.
And now we have officially entered
and threw the tree in the ground upside down.
Look at the
Poor
giraffe.
giraffes.
You can definitely tell there have been some hoofstock animals that have passed through the savannah recently from how short lots of this grass is. Normally the grass in the savannah is a lot more overgrown than this, but as the animals pass through and graze on the grass, it'll end up nice and short just like this. Looks like the first animal we'll get a decent look at on the savannah is going to be one of those hoofstock grazing animals. We're not up to them just yet, but they're up ahead to our right-hand side. There's these dark gray animals. They're the wildebeest. We're going to get a lot closer to them in a few more moments here. But wildebeest, they do make one of the largest land migrations with up to 1.5 million of them that have been seen migrating together at one time.
Dang.
Now they also do get their name, wildebeest, bless you, from an Afrikaans word that literally translates to, can you maybe guess what wildebeest might translate to? That's right, wild beast. Wildebeest, wild beast. Now before we get closer to them, we're actually going to pass by an animal den to our left, and it looks like this den belongs to the African wild dogs, also known as the painted dogs. There's some rolling around in the back there with the vultures, and then there's some right under this little tree having a snooze. Do not let their cute little cuddly faces fool you though. They are the #1 most successful predators in all of Africa. The reason that they're so successful is they hunt in packs of 15 up to 30 dogs and are simply going to chase their prey until it gives up and collapses from exhaustion. They have great endurance and stamina. Wildebeest are to our right-hand side now, and coming up on our left-hand side are the signature animals of the reserve and the striped animals, which are the Hartmann's mountain zebra. The sable antelope behind them are the signature animals, one of the only antelope species to fight back against predators. Hartmann's mountain zebra, there's a couple mama and baby pairs here. One difference between them and other subspecies, they sort of have high heels on. Their hooves are a lot more raised up than their hoofstock, which helps them navigate the more mountainous areas of Africa they live in. If the babies you saw looked a little long-legged to you, it's because they're actually born with their legs full adult length. And they'll grow into those legs eventually as they get older. And a group of zebra, by the way, that's known as a dazzle. A dazzle of zebra. We're also passing by some termite mounds, kind of scattered all throughout the savannah. Termite mounds have been recorded to grow up to 30 feet tall in height, and they are stronger than concrete. They're made out of termite saliva, mud, and dust. And you know, poop might not have been my first choice of what to make a mound out of, but it might have been my #2 choice. Now there are going to be these little fellas coming up on our right-hand side in the back there. They kind of look like s'mores. They're the springbok. They're one of the top 10 fastest land mammals with speeds of 60 miles per hour. They can also jump 13 feet in front of them and 6 feet in the air with a single leap, so they could hop right into the truck and join us on our safari if they really, really wanted to. Wish they don't. But there's also a tall fella walking around up ahead. It's going to be one of the Maasai giraffe, and it's probably a part of a larger tower, which is what a group of giraffe is known as, a tower of giraffes. So we'll probably see a few more of them in a moment. Now, what's going to separate Maasai giraffe from other subspecies is their messier, darker colored spots that they have on their coats. The giraffe is the tallest land mammal on the planet. They can reach heights of up to 20 feet tall. Now, whenever a baby giraffe is born, babies are born at 6 feet tall and can stand up within the hour of them being born. A few more of them will be to our left-hand side now. I'm in the trees, and these ones will be demonstrating for us what it is that giraffe do best, which is eating. In fact, giraffe will spend about 16 to 20 hours every single day just eating. As this one eats, you might see its prehensile tongue sticking it out to grab some food there that they share with their cousin, the okapi we talked about earlier. And because giraffes spend so much time eating, they don't really have a lot of time for much else. So they only spend about 30 minutes of their day sleeping. They're only going to sleep for a few minutes at a time, and when giraffe finally do sleep, they prefer to sleep standing up with their eyes open. Now, directly in front of us here is a rock.
Beautiful.
And this rock formation, this is commonly referred to as Monkey Point. It looks like an elephant may have passed through Monkey Point and toppled the tree to our right over. Elephant like to eat from tall trees like giraffe, but they're not quite as tall, so sometimes they just knock trees over and eat the leaves off the ground. Now, it does look like we're going to catch a glimpse of the largest land mammal on the entire planet today. And that will be, well, there's also a monkey there to your left. There's a mandrill, it's just walking past, way in the back there. That's a female. The male mandrill is the largest, most brightly colored monkey though on the planet with a weight of 100 pounds. That's also the monkey Rafiki from Disney's The Lion King is inspired after. But like I was saying, we're going to see the largest land mammal on the planet, the African elephant. There's going to be one coming up to our right. We'll probably see some more as we head deeper into elephant country in a moment. But whenever you see an elephant, you can tell that you're looking at an African one if you get a good look at their ears. Because their ears are larger and actually shaped like the continent of Africa a little bit, although it's kind of hard to see from this angle. It's probably a male. I say that because it looks like he's all by himself. Once males reach adulthood, they leave their herds and then they go off on their own. But sometimes they have been seen to form bachelor herds, which are small groups of 2 or 3 male elephant. Now, speaking of elephant, there was an independent researcher who partnered with the Disney Conservation Fund. They discovered elephants are deathly afraid of bees. So, in an effort to protect elephant from African farmers that were killing them to protect their crops, they developed beehive fences farmers can place around their crops. Now, elephants simply hear bees buzzing and they steer clear. That protects the elephant from the farmers. It protects the farmers' crops from the elephant. And it gives the farmers a free supply of honey. So it's a win-win for everybody. Now, it does look like some elephant passed through here. One of the ways I can tell are the tusk marks in the clay, mostly to our right. Elephant like to dig their tusks in clay like that. They're going to gather the clay up and then they will eat it. Them eating clay is kind of like their version of them taking their daily vitamin. Clay is filled with rich minerals, which helps keep the elephants healthy. Looks like there are a few more of them out and about today. There's one on the other side of the plants here, but we'll see if we can get a better look at another one in just another moment. But if you already noticed some tusks that protrude from their face, elephant tusks are made out of ivory. And both male and female elephant are going to grow those tusks, sadly. That does make both male and female elephant targets of poaching. Now, a lot of these elephant here will probably be snacking on some snacks right now, which isn't surprising because they eat about 300 pounds of food every day. Now, that's also about the same amount of weight baby elephant weigh the day that they're born, 300 pounds. And there actually is a younger girl up ahead who's kind of walking around by their watering hole, just a smaller little lady.
Oh, there she is.
Now,
Right there.
I forgot what I was saying. But to get a baby elephant to 300 pounds, female elephant, they have to be pregnant longer than any other mammal. In fact, elephant are pregnant for up to 22 months. So almost 2 years they're pregnant.
Yes.
Now, elephants don't just have to eat lots of food. They
That's
also
just
have to poop, a lot of poop. About 100 pounds of poop every day. And elephant poop is gathered up, and then it's recycled. It's turned into lots of useful things, including insect repellent and even paper. There's one eating from a dangly thing here to our left. But there is also a website you can visit called poopoopaper.com, where you can buy paper that's made out of recycled elephant poop. And some of that money does go back towards elephant conservation, other conservation projects. It's using its trunk to grab some food from that thing there. And elephant trunks, fun fact, they actually have more muscles in their trunk than we do in our entire bodies. But there's also some birds hanging out in this pond here to our left, and these pink birds here are the greater flamingo. They are the largest and lightest in color of the flamingo species. They are hatched gray, but after about a year of them eating their favorite food, which is brine shrimp, that's correct, young gray flamingo eventually do begin to turn pink. And a group of flamingo, like the group you just saw, that's known as the flamboyance of flamingo, for their flamboyant pink color. Now, it does look like there's going to be another large animal agreeing us in this next part of the savannah. It's actually a mama and baby animal as well. It's the white rhino. Now, this baby is actually the largest of the 3 babies that can be seen on the reserve. He's almost full size, he's pretty big, but his name's Ranger. Ranger was named after the rangers of Africa who will help protect these rhinos from poachers. These are white rhino. They're a larger subspecies. They can reach weights of 5,000 pounds and still run at 35 miles per hour, like the black rhino we saw earlier. There's another to your right-hand side here, another baby as well with its mama hanging out together. The horns in the front of their faces, they're not made out of ivory like elephant tusks are. Rhino horns are made out of keratin. That is the same material our hair and our fingernails are made of. So it's like they have a big fingernail growing right out of their face. If you notice that stick next to us, it looks kind of sharpened at the end and really muddy. It's a very popular horn sharpening tool for them. Just like how we cut our hair and cut our nails, rhinos do like to shape their horns down into different shapes. They're using sticks like that, rocks, trees, whatever they can. And it looks like we're going to catch a glimpse of the fastest land mammals on the planet. There to our left, there's two cheetahs cuddled up next to each other, laying down. Cheetahs, they're the fastest land mammals. They can reach speeds of 60 miles or 70 miles per hour actually. And they can go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3 seconds. Now, cheetahs, they do have non-retractable claws. Their claws are always out, even when running really fast. They're also the only big cats that hunt during the daytime, so they don't have to compete with bigger big cats like lions at night. There's a couple more in the corner of the head here to our left as well. And while cheetahs cannot roar like other big cats, they can purr, meow, chirp. They're like big house cats, but super dangerous.
Yep.
Now, there is another rock formation up ahead here. This is known as a kopje, and the African savanna is littered with kopje. There's a particular animal that sometimes likes to hang out around kopje, so we'll see if any animals are in this area. There is a famous kopje from a famous Disney movie. Does anyone know the name of the kopje I'm referring to? That's correct. It's Pride Rock. There's another rhino to your right. But Pride Rock from Disney's The Lion King, that's an example of a kopje. Last baby and mama pair. It's right behind us there. White rhino, they are more social. They do like to hang out in groups known as crashes. Looks like we pretty much saw all of their crash, at least most of it. Now, we got to see both white and black rhino today, and a lot of people assume, logically, that one of the differences between a white and a black rhino is going to be their color. But actually, white and black rhino are the same exact color. The main difference between the two species is what I may have mentioned earlier. The black rhino has the long prehensile upper lip. Sometimes people will ask, well, if they're the same color, why is one called white and one called black? It's actually due to a mispronunciation of an Afrikaans word, pronounced vite, which has something to do with the white rhino's wider upper lip. We mispronounced it. Now they're known as the white rhino. But if you look to your left, there's a lion up there, a female lioness. And you can tell that she's a female, no bushy mane right around her neck. If it looks like she's just lying around right now, it's because they're largely inactive most of the day. Their daytime vision's about the same as ours. Their nighttime vision is 6 times greater. They do most of their hunting at night. It's not the lazy male who does the hunting, though. It's going to be the females. Male lions' responsibilities fall on defending their territory and cubs from any threats. Does anyone know what the Swahili word for lion is?
What is this?
That's right. It's Simba. Simba is Swahili for lion. Now, lions actually do have the loudest roar out of all the big cats. If she was to roar as loud as she could, it could be heard up to 5 miles away. And it also looks like we're going to see the ostrich hanging out in this area. There's going to be 2 next to us and 1 walking around up ahead. The 2 will be laying down by the road here. Ostriches are the fastest 2-legged animals and running birds with speeds of 40 miles per hour. They do have wings because they're birds, but they don't allow them to fly. They act like propellers, which assist in changing direction when running fast. Fun fact, their eyeballs are larger than their brains. But they're still surprisingly intelligent. They have very powerful legs. So powerful, in fact, one of those ostrich could kill a lion instantly with a single kick. If you want to see their eggs, they're to your right on the ground there. Those are all female ostrich because they're all light gray. Males will be black. That means they do lay eggs periodically, the largest eggs on the planet. They're so sturdy, an adult human male could stand on top of an ostrich egg and it would not crack. But now, we're heading away from the African savanna. And it looks like we're heading into what's known as the Magadi Glen. The Magadi Glen is where the warden has set up his warden's post on the edge of the reserve, and that means we should see the warden's Nigerian dwarf goats. A whole bunch of goats will be hanging out in the corner coming up to our left. Nigerian dwarf goats are very popular in Africa, both as pets because they're super cute, and as dairy animals. They produce really sweet and high protein milk. They stand at 2 feet tall, have their little pot bellies that hold their 4-chamber stomachs they have to help them digest lots of the stuff they eat. That yellow kind of triangular box there in front of the warden's post, that's a piece of one of the beehive fences I mentioned earlier that keep elephants away. That's what a beehive would look like. And those goats we saw, they're a great example of how humans and animals can live together in harmony with one another with a symbiotic relationship. The people of Africa take care of the goats, providing food and shelter and water. In return, the goats provide companionship the milk they produce, and they help keep the grass of the land nice and short.
Oh, my
But sadly,
bad. My bad.
Our safari has come to an end. However, if you're not done looking at animals and you want to see a few more, feel free to check out Gorilla Falls. There you can see meerkats, naked mole rats, gorillas, all sorts of other African animals. And unfortunately, friends, a lot of the animals we got to see out there today are endangered, either due to loss of habitat or from poaching. But even the smallest bit of effort can make a big difference. All of you can make a difference even starting today simply by recycling your park maps or any plastic bottles you would need when you're done with them at any of the recycling bins that can be found around the park. If you'd like to learn more about how you can help some of the animals we saw out there today, feel free to speak to a villager at any merchandise location in the village of Harambe
It was
about the
21
Disney
minutes.
Conservation Fund.
Bye, guys.
Now, my friends,